Well, welcome back. Another week of working on my C-Cab project. I didn't post nothing last week. I was busy, mostly with the shop. If you remember or watched the last episode, I was changing my shop lights from fluorescent to LED bulbs. I had to disconnect the ballast resistors, and it's a little tricky. My ceilings in here are 14 feet high, so I didn't feel comfortable on a ladder. So I put the scaffolding up here, and we did it on the scaffolding. And then while I had the scaffolding up in here, I went ahead and tightened up the garage door springs. They needed adjustment really bad. I've been having to put a stick under there to hold the doors up. So I got that taken care of, and you can see now it's got it cleaned out. So one of the things I'm going to start on this week is continue on putting the engine back together. But before I start on the engine, I had one other thing from last week or 2 weeks ago. The tie rod end for right here, I needed a jam nut. I went to 3 places trying to find this jam nut, which is 11/16 18 thread, and nobody had one. So what I decided to do was, I had some laying here, 5/8 jam nuts. I took one and drilled it out, and then I have a tap for 11/16 because last build on my T-bucket, every time I'd send something like radius rods to the chrome plater, I couldn't put the ball joints back in because of the chrome plating. So I had to go buy taps, left and right hand thread. Luckily, to clean it out, I had the tap. So you can see here, I retapped the nut. The jam nut, it's a 5/8 nut, but retapped out to 11/16. And a little tricky with one hand, but it'll go. There. So let me go ahead and stick this on the car real quick. That'll help with me moving it around, stop the wheels from flopping back and forth. And then we'll get started on the engine. Well, I'm got to back to working on the engine. In my other videos, I'm not sure where I left off. It's been so long since I worked on this. But the problem was the rope seal. I've shimmed everything, put it together without the seal, torqued it all down, and the crank spun perfect. I had 2.5 thousandths clearance on the bearings. Everything was looking good. So I took it back apart, I put the rope seal in, pressed it in real good, trimmed it like everybody says, put the crank back in, and I can't turn the crank. It's that tight. So then I do a little more researching online because I'm not really familiar with these rope seals. And it says to take a socket and a hammer and tap it in. It's got to be pressed in really tight. So that's what I did. I tapped it all the way around, put the seal back in, got it tapped in, and we're going to put it back together. I left all the shims where they were, so nothing should change with the shims. That's why I've got the bolts here. I got to be real careful. But I wanted to hold the shims in place so they didn't fall down or get, mixed up. Let me see if we can drop it back in there. Well, we got the crank in, but it's still pretty tight. When I torqued down the cap here on the end with the rope seal in it, I couldn't turn the crank. So what I did was I loosened this one back up, and I was able to turn it. Then I tightened it a little, I turned it, tightened it, turned it, tightened it, turned it. I kept working it back and forth, and now I got it torqued down to 110 foot-pounds, and I can turn it, but I got to turn it with a bar. I can't turn the crank by hand. I'm going to try to ask somebody, a guy I know, about how much torque should take. I don't know, how much drag what's normal on these motors. Matter of fact, I went and bought a book, Chevy inline 6-cylinder, 1954 to 62, how to rebuild. So, like I said, I'm not familiar with it. Next thing we're going to do right here, it says, is to put the timing plate on, and then we're going to put the camshaft in it. So I got the plate right here in the gasket. I'm going to get some sealer and stick the gasket to the plate, and then we'll go ahead and we'll bolt the plate up to the back of the engine. Well, we went ahead and put the timing plate on. Next thing it says to do is put the camshaft in, which I already did. I'll show you right here. It was a little tricky by myself. But, I don't know if you can see right here the timing marks. But anyway, I got it in. Like I said, a little tricky trying to hold it one hand and push it. I wish to make the cam like 1/8 of an inch longer, so when the gears are almost interlocking, you can turn this. But no, as soon as you pull this out enough to clear this gear right here to get the right tooth, the other end of the cam falls down. So you got to hold it and hold the gear and turn it at the same time. Little bit tricky. But anyway, like I said, we got it. I got it lubed up real good. Everything looks good. Well, now that the crank and the camshaft is in and lined up, the next thing you'll do is put the timing cover on. And let me show you over here what I did. I didn't film it, but I can show you real quick. I replaced the seal here in the timing cover. So what I did was took it this way, put it over this socket here, and then went and punched it out, which you can see I got it laying there. And then to put it back in, this socket here matches the face right here, so you can see here like that. And then shimmed it up so that the timing cover's level right there, and then just went ahead and tapped it in. That way it didn't bend the cover at all. So now what we're going to do, according to the book, is we're going to put the gasket on, sealer, and then bolt the timing cover on, but don't tighten it down. Just get all the bolts started. And then it tells you to take the harmonic balancer and knock it on with the keyway here so that it'll center this cover. Otherwise, the cover's got a play in it, and I could tighten it down one side or the other side, and it won't be centered on the crank, which I can understand that. It's going to be hard to get to tighten these two screws in the back. Most of them I can get to, but these two are going to be hard to get to once I put the balancer back on. But that's what it says to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and we'll see how it goes. Well, that wasn't too bad. The two screws I was talking about, I don't know if you can see them, is this one here and this one here, but I was able to get them tight. You couldn't see it from where the angle was, but there's also 2 bolts that come in here from the back into that timing cover, that thread into the timing cover. And then these got little tabs here, you see, where you can bend them over to stop these from backing out. So I got to bend these tabs yet. I didn't do that yet, but the balancer lined up, the cover supposedly lined up good. I think the next thing the book is telling me to put the oil pump in and the pickup, and then we're going to put the rods and pistons in it. So let me see if I can find the pieces for the oil pump. Well, I didn't film the whole thing, but the oil pump was pretty simple. It's just on a shaft that goes into this here. It slides down in here, and then you can see down here there's a set screw with a jam nut that holds it, and then a fitting for here. And there's also a spacer you can see right here that goes from the strainer to the main cap. And that's all there is to the oil pump. So I didn't film, putting it in. It went in pretty simple, self-explanatory sort of. Next thing it's telling me to do is put the rods and pistons in. And I'm going to have to wait on that because I don't have a ring compressor to get the pistons in. So I'm going to go see if I can pick one up. In the meantime, I guess I'll cut this video short. Hope you enjoyed the video so far. Don't forget, if you do, give it a thumbs up. A like helps out my channel a lot. And as always, any comments, suggestions, questions, always welcome. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video.